calling Inspector Carlisle Moses?
Hello, yes please. I wonder if you can help me. I've got a complaint.
Yes, I can try and help you.
My dudes. Lord of mercy. I have so many cars. Just a little overwhelmed. Dude, every time I do an upload, doesn't mean you get a treat. But I figure that if I don't give him a treat right now, he's gonna just keep popping up. So, is he in here? He's right there. I'll be back. So it seems that he has me pretty well trained. And you know what? That's okay, man. Because here we are trying to train our pups, and if you think about it, they're so reliant on us. You know what I mean? Like, we restrict them to what they can and can't do. We feed them. Oh man, it's not that I haven't been aware, but it's definitely different when you take a different seat and a different visual to things. I think it gives you a lot more consideration, you know? Man, kind of feel bad for every time I didn't give him a treat, but that's my dude, the dude. But how are you dudes? Good, I hope? How's the hunting? From what I can see on YouTube, looks pretty decent. Everyone's finding some stuff. Yo, Creole Diecast came up. Good come up, my dude. Shout out to 406 Hot Wheels. They told me about a drop. Didn't find anything I needed, but it's cool that the community we're all in touch like that. And that's man, that's just so cool. I wonder what you guys are really into, because and this is sparked by obviously my own catalyst, you know, and thought, but a lot of it's sparked by, you know, meeting you collectors and seeing what's good, what's not good, you know, what you guys think is cool. And I have a lot of pleasure in this hobby, but I would have so much more pleasure by collecting just what I want. I really want to focus my collection, so I'm going to make these moves too, and I'm not trying to inspire anyone else to do so. Collect however you want, hoard them if you want, do it. I mean, just be in the hobby, you know. But I'm really excited because I've come to grips with that. But I will also need to remind myself why I'm excited about Hot Wheels, what got me excited, you know. And like, if you guys saw the last edit, the McDonald's car, the tri-car, rocket car, that's a big part of it. But, you know, I had to think like, well, when did I start thinking cars were cool? And if I remember the scene, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get flagged for this, but this scene, man, I was like, where can you get that car? Like, my parents had a few cars that time in our life, so I was like, man, why do you guys have those cars when you could get that car? That Lotus was epic. And it's up in a museum somewhere, so we can go and touch it and feel it and kick the tires, you know? But with that, I wanted to kind of go over something or share with you guys some things. And that's the 007 phenomenon, really, because that was, excuse me, That Lotus scene was from, excuse me, The Spy Who Loved Me. And, oh man, Bond movies. There's so many of them. There's like 24 of them. And so really, before I get into this, I should actually give credit where credit's due. So let me credit Ian Fleming, the man behind the Bond saga. You know, it's probably a saga is a better word, but Ian Fleming. He was like a ex-naval intelligence officer, British dude, British fella, and from what I remember reading, he was basically, you know, writing about himself. So I don't know if he was a spy or not, but he's essentially writing about himself. And he got into writing novels and needed a character, not himself, obviously. So he found a name. And it's so funny because this is how ideas come about. But he was in the library reading books and he saw a birdwatching novelist book, and his name was James Bond. You know, if you're reading birdwatching books, you're probably not reading spy books. So he's like, this will be safe. So James Bond. And it's funny because it's such a masculine name, but it's a bird watcher who we probably don't all consider masculine. But I'm a bird watcher. I love birds. We've got a ton of birds here. Had a ton in Colorado. And when that whole campaign of Birds Aren't Real was going on, I was cracking up. So we're not going to touch base with that because that's too opinionated. But so Ian Fleming, James Bond is where it came from. We know Bond. We know, most of us who watch Bond know, you know, his Aston Martins. But he had a lot of cars. And here's where I'm bugging a little bit because I've got all the Fast and Furious stuff, literally all of it, and they put so much praise into that. And that's only 10 movies. And this guy had 24, you know? 26, technically. There's 2. There was a spoof and another movie where Bond appeared in. Never Say Never. And that was Sean Connery. It was like a kind of a weird comeback. But anyway. But, you know, and that's okay. I'm not dissing the Fast and F stuff. You guys know I followed that saga. But they didn't, in my opinion, I don't feel like there's enough Bond cars and character cars from the movie. So I'm going to show you guys and go over a few of my favorites. And we'll start with the first movie, Dr. No. And these are all Sean Connery films. The first one, Sean Connery was the first Bond. But the Dr. No movie, there was an Alpine Sunbeam. And Hot Wheels doesn't make this casting, unfortunately. Johnny Lightning does. I did find one online. And this is my regrettable purchase. I thought I had one. I saw it at Walmart a while back, but I didn't buy it. So there it is. Now Alpine Sunbeam, and the whole reason that car came about was because the dude Ian lived in Jamaica, and essentially he needed a sports car for this movie, this action movie he was filming, and his homie had an Alpine Sunbeam. It looked really sporty. So and what's even funnier about that is the Alpine Tiger, which is a Sunbeam that's pissed off, is basically Carroll Shelby's first Cobra. You know, Alpine had Shelby help them make a pissed off version, and that's the Cobra, or excuse me, the Tiger. And that's basically a Cobra with like roll up windows. I mean, you had some luxuries there. So anyway, but that's the Alpine Tiger. You guys saw the Sunbeam from Johnny Lightning, so you guys can find that. The next movie was From Russia with Love. He didn't really have a car in that, but there was like a Bentley that they showed. There's Goldfinger Drive, because that was the first, where did it go? Showing, and pardon me, I'm going to use a different car here. That was the first time we saw the DB5, the Aston Martin. This is a Fast and Furious casting, because when they were in Europe, there's a Fast and Furious casting. But that was a DB5 introduction. Beautiful car. That car is going to find its way throughout the movies, the saga, for years and years and years. But I got some notes here, guys, so I can stay on track. What do I have? Oh, the Goldfinger dude. I do know this. That dude doesn't even speak English. So if you look at the movie, he's just being voiced over, you know, and or he's not present when he's speaking, like he's not in the camera. But there's that, and then that dude was an actual Nazi. It is crazy. I was watching that movie Monuments Men the other day, and That has nothing to do with this, but that was a really good movie. But anyway, he was an actual Nazi, but it sounds like the redemption was, it was one of those things where it's like, you know, you either join up or bad things happen, you know. So he joined up, but he was like, he helped a bunch of Jewish people find their way. So these are all stories I'm not sure of, but that was cool. But Goldfinger, so that's where you first saw, pardon me, that's where you first saw the DB5. Beautiful's car. Thunderball's the next movie. Hot Wheels did share this casting with us. They did it in, sorry guys, a little blurry, but the Screen Time series from like 2017. But this is a rad car. Super good on the track too. But Thunderball was a rad movie. You Only Live Twice. And this one was crazy because I don't even remember if it was his car. I think it was this lady's car actually, but I did grab what representative. I should have probably looked it up before I started this video, but they had a 2000, a Toyota 2000 GT is what they drove. Now this one, it was white. Probably have a better representative. Well, it's not a better representative, but it's not as busy as the other. But this is from the Tokyo set. We should all talk about that too, but that's what your Toyota looked like. So that was a really cool Bond car. I can't remember if it was his or if some chick picked him up. All right, it's not a quiz show. So next up was, okay, that was Connery's last movie for the Bond series. But then they brought this dude George on for a little bit, and he drove all the deer right there. But he was in a 69 Mercury Cougar XR7 coupe. Dope. Crazy. So that was a huge script flip for the movie, for the Enterprise rather. But it was cool because we got to see some new vehicles, some whole different twist on the Bond thing. So that dude only had one run, and then Sean Connery came back for Diamonds Are Forever, and this is where they introduced the Mustang Mach 1, and that was a rad car. And actually, I don't have that casting. I don't know why I'm looking for it. Hot Wheels did do a little justice, and they made this 5-card set, and I'm going to just show you. So the Mach 1's in there, and so are a bunch of other castings. That's where you can score that. I should probably just click whatever that picture was and buy it. Unless somebody's got it, we can make some trades. After that, this car was sick. So the Live and Let Die movie, this was the first Timothy Dalton one. And homie drove a Eldorado, or a Cadillac Corvorado. So this is where the CTSs and CTVs and all that stuff come from. Excuse me. They took an Eldorado body and put it on a Corvette chassis. Put it on a Corvette. Everything else. So like, genius, you know. That was cool. So that's a cool car, but they don't make that casting. And I've seen that. I've seen it in a picture before somewhere. Like somebody made like maybe a 1/24 scale one. Anyway, so Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun. This is a new one. This is where they introduced the American Motor Company Matador Coupe. So again, bringing another American vehicle in. That was a cool presence. The Spy Who Loved Me. Actually, here's something else too I was just thinking of. I'm all over the place because I'm excited about Bond. But From Russia with Love was the last movie that President Kennedy saw. Crazy. Saw it in theaters before he went to Texas. Useless fact. Maybe it'll win you a game show. Maybe. Exciting. Let's see. Oh, The Spy Who Loved Me. That's where you get your. That's where the dream starts. Ma, Pop, why the heck we driving this Firebird, Monte Carlo, and I'm pretty sure it was a Cadillac or like a Lincoln. Maybe it was a Lincoln. Might have been a Lincoln, but I remember those cars being in the driveway. But the Lotus Esprit S1, Sorry guys, I didn't even give this any attention. I'm in my feels, but from the 007 premium set, not set, but the Spy Who Loved Me, and they were doing these single releases, so not set. So you just got to keep your eye out. But that was a great one. Like I said, got me turned on. Moonraker was the next movie, but didn't really have a car in that. I think that Bentley was back in it though, or another old school Bentley. For Your Eyes Only, that's also the Lotus. Just check it out again. Go ahead. Imagine this thing like I don't know. Never growing up. Octopussy. That was a good one because you saw this really cool hatchback Alpha. Like great. It was just cool. It was cool. Really cool. But sleek. And another fact is Timothy Dalton was considered the softest Bond. He only killed like one dude in all of like the movies he was in. He was probably in 5 or 6 or 7. But he only killed one dude. Versus like I guess Pierce Brosnan was the bloodiest. He killed like 50 dudes. So crazy. That Alfa Romeo was a GT V6. Excuse me. Really cool. View to Kill. 1962 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud, and that was just something he was being chauffeured in. I had to take that note. I really don't actually remember seeing that one, so I'll have to watch it. The car is familiar, but not the movie. I can't think. So Dalton out, Brosnan in, The Living Daylights. Boom. Brosnan comes in and he appears in a Aston Martin V8 Volante, which is not available for me to show you, and I don't believe they made one either, but cool car. Next up was License to Kill. He had a Lincoln Mark 7. That was cool. They're out in Cali or Florida. They're out somewhere with palm trees in America. GoldenEye brought back the DB7. I'll show you this one here. I'll show you this one. This one's beautiful too. The Forza one. Love that one. Love that one. Yeah. I was like, no, that was GoldenEye. GoldenEye, yeah. Tomorrow Never Dies comes up next, and this is where BMW had the contract for the movies, for a couple movies later. So he was driving that 750IL in that one, and then in the next one, The World Is Not Enough, is where that Z8 appeared. That's when we first got a taste of a BMW Z8. That thing was cool. Hot Wheels didn't make it. Die Another Day, Aston Martin. That's that V8 again. I believe that V8 Volante came back. And turn the page to Daniel Craig, my favorite Bond. I don't know who your favorite is, and I believe that could be determined by age and or vehicle, or by Bond girl, or by Q, or by M. Whoever your favorites are, you kind of have to collectively put a decision. But I like Daniel Craig, man, and I even like the Moneypenny character. Ooh. I might talk about that at the end, so stick around for that. It's more, maybe I'm gonna think about it. But you know, Moneypenny and Q is a doll. Not really. She kills a lot of people. But anyway, Daniel Craig's first appearance was Casino Royale, and this is where he had the DB5. But this is also the DBS was introduced. But the DB5 appeared in that movie as well. But this is where he was driving this beautiful thing, the DBS. Hot Wheels did really good on these castings too, guys. And I'm not showing you, but I should do better. And I will do better. Behind that was Quantum of Solace. And that was the DBS again. That was this one. So they probably just didn't want to make a secondary card because I don't have that one. Skyfall was next, and in Skyfall he had the DB5, so he had the OG one again. Fast and Furious, we appreciate you. But this thing is rad. Look at it. That's what needs to happen. Need to free all these sons of bees. Spectre. Spectre was great. Now, I don't have a favorite Bond movie. I have a favorite Bond. How about that? But Spectre was rad because this is where Aston Martin introduces their DB10. And this car is phenomenal. And even more so, it was built with James Bond in mind. It was built almost for the movie. It was for the market, but for the movie. And Bond movies, they bought like 8 of them for the movie. You know, Crash, I'm sure a bunch, but it's really cool to know those two big British powerhouses, you know, leaning on each other or helping each other, growing with each other. That's what they're doing. That's cool, man. Plus, Daniel Craig had like a car like tailored for his character, but I still see him as Daniel Craig. And then lastly, and I will admit, I did not finish this movie. I have not seen the last 10 minutes. And I won't. Oh, I not say I won't, but I'm not in a rush to, because I just don't want to see Craig die. But Hot Wheels definitely took care of him and really gave him the Aston Martin Valhalla concept car. And they also made the DB5 with all the bullet holes in it for him. They did really good on these castings. I appreciate that. But yeah, Daniel Craig gets killed in that one, so I don't want to see it. But Hot Wheels was kind enough to offer a $1 version of that Valhalla for you. There she is in the Screen Time series. But you know what? I'm gonna talk about it. Rumor has it, now that Daniel Craig now that Bond is moved on, that they're going to introduce a Bond, and the Bond might be the and I don't know her name, but the young woman character from No Time to Die, and she's going to become the new 007, and that's cool because I'm all for promoting within. I just want to make sure that it doesn't become one of these things. If you guys know what I'm talking about, she's a young black woman, but I don't want it to become all this attention to where it's done in force. Does that make sense? I don't think it's forceful. And realistically, in my head, because I'm an OG, Bond is a white British dude, and that's just how it was built for me. But I understand things change. I understand things grow and everything. And I'm all for Bond being a 4 foot tall Mexican dude. I don't care. I mean, that's how I have it in my head. Shaft is an old black dude with big thick mustache that I'll never grow, you know? But that's just me. So I just want to make sure we don't put too much attention to that, or I hope the world doesn't. And I hope, if that is the case, that it's a great movie, and I hope that they continue to insert this mother in there, because that's a standard. I'll respect whoever gets to drive that mother. Oh man. But I wonder. I do wonder what you guys think, but I don't think this is a conversation we should have on YouTube. I'm really surprised they even shared my thoughts on it, but I don't really got anybody else to tell or talk to about that right now. So, yeah. I don't know. If you like the cars I'm showing, hit the like button. Hit the like button. I would appreciate that, you know. And if you aren't, you know, if you're not riding along already, you can hit the sub button. I can be the worst channel you're subscribed to, or I can be the second worst, or maybe even one of the best. I hope. I'm working towards it, you know. But if you really want to holler at a player, you can be notified when I'm trying to party. And this is what this is. It's a party because I keep making a mess and I got to clean it up when my parents get home. So hit that notifications button. I would really like to share some what I think is cool about this hobby, the positives of it, and skim over most of the negatives, and show you guys some cool cars. And I don't know if you're still listening, but if you are and you have that James Bond 5-car set, let me know. Let's talk about it. I have stuff I hope that you want. So, but I figure if you got that set, you got everything. This was a different video. Holla at your boy. Peace.